Welcome back, everybody, to Challengers North America Stage 3. I'm still Marks, this is still Keg, and we've got Nightblood Gaming up against the Rankers. And Nightblood Gaming, they win out map number 1 in triple overtime, I think it was.
Look, I'm not even going to try to do the math. It was a long time for overtime, but look, it's Bind. It was designed to be the anti-Rankers map. And now that we go into Sunset, I feel like we go from like, it's like the meme of like the guy who's like all happy and like there's a lot of light to like him in the dark and he's all sad. Because Sunset is going to be like Bind where there's a mid now and it's just going to be a Ranker's paradise. You have Neon, you can slide through, you can get past any stall factor that's up against you. You're going to split push everything, man.
I mean, you do raise an excellent point with that, but at the same time, I'm really impressed with how Nightblood Gaming were playing around their Neon. There was a lot of synergy coming in with the deadlock that we saw on Bind, and to me, this shows a team that is very well rehearsed with these Neon strategies, especially too with on this patch how strong Neon is. I don't know, Alim, for me, Nightblood Gaming still have a real shot at potentially closing this one out. I'm just saying.
to be fair, though, we haven't seen Neon versus Neon yet. There is the point that we didn't get to see any Neon being played out by Rankers, and Kane Zera on Raze did have a really underperforming game. He had a lot of first deaths up against him. He was caught out of position, a lot of just kind of pushing up W keys that did not find any success. I hope that gets corrected into this match, and I know Eggster doesn't really play much beyond Yoru. It would be interesting to see a change, but I hope at the very minimum it is Neon versus Neon. I hope I never have to say that again.
Well, you know, we're playing on the last patch for this tournament, and of course, even when we go into the next one, Neon is still good. But I'm assuming at some point they're probably going to slow down some of that movement, or you know, get rid of something to make Neon just not as viable as she is. But you raise an excellent point talking about Eggster pretty much only playing the Yoru. It is really working out because a lot of these teams, you know, the Yoru is a very niche pick, and when you're playing against a technical expert with a team that kind of knows how to play around that, it can be very frustrating. But you mentioned this in the last series. It begs the question of how high the skill ceiling is outside of just being incredibly cracked aimers.
Yeah, it's going to be hard when you put the entire team together. And I think even though everyone on the team, as we know, is very vocal, Inspire is still going to be that leader in place to help call the strats and make sure everyone has their ducks aligned. He's going to be that very important factor, and he's going to make everyone feel inspired.
Almost like that's why Inspire chose that name. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the clap. I got you with the clap. Don't worry about that.
It's like the lowest hanging fruit possible that people say whenever Inspire's mentioned. But we have the game going on. We're going to Sunset. Let's see exactly what the team comps look like. Oh, it's loading and I'm sorry. So we can continue to speculate for 30 seconds what the team comp's going to look like. Again, I'm assuming there's going to be a reality where it's maybe the Neon Yoru from Rankers. I know the agent pool for Eggster is also a little beyond just Yoru, but you know, you're looking at like a vat of 95% Yoru play and 5% Cypher.
Yeah. And on top of that too, I mean, good thing you brought up Cypher as well, because this is the last patch. This is before all of those nerfs came in for Cypher. And Cypher has been a pretty big part of a lot of these teams' compositions, especially on a map like Sunset. I feel like Sunset and Cypher, they just kind of go together, and I'm curious to see how post-patch what some of these teams are going to be running, if they still bring that Cypher despite the fact that those trips aren't going to be as effective, or if they try out different Sentinel agents.
It's going to be interesting, because I know I've talked to a few people in different chats recently being like, is Sunset a solved map? Because you have the Neon Breach, the Sova and or Fade, Omen, and Cypher plays, right? And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, okay, so this is the thing about Valorant, and to be honest with you, most games that are games of service, I think it is solved, yes, as of right now, but as soon as they shift up the meta a little bit, I think that the Cypher nerf could really shift things up onto Sunset, and teams might experiment with different types of Sentinel agents. I mean, we're seeing Deadlock get a lot more viability, simply just because the Deadlock stuff is extremely similar with the global usage of some of that equipment and you can just run away from the other side. A lot of these Cypher plays, sure, you got those trap wires, you try to go for those trap plays, but it is just the denial of information and space on the map. And technically speaking, Deadlock could do a pseudo version of that.
That's true. We have seen a lot of Deadlock from Rankers, and we've also seen nothing but Clove from Knights. So who's to say we're going to have a default comp?
Honestly, I would expect us to see the Clove coming back out again. And I think that speaks to the style that we like to see Rankers play. They're very frag forwards. I think that's a great way to describe this team. They're always just playing for the duel, always playing for the opportunity to get like a 1vx. And to be honest with you, Nightblood Gaming have, once they realize that, have been doing a fantastic job of countering those opportunities, or at least making it so it's not as free for the rankers to just find these multi-kills.
I do think, though, having Bind be that first map really had a lot of uncomfortability for rankers. It's not really a map that you frag out on, you know? A lot of it has to do with big team-wide rotates. At this level of play for challengers or even like VCT, it requires a lot of communication for attackers to gain space and really trick these defenders on how you can hit the site with the least amount of resistance. There isn't really a map that's like that in the game outside of Bind, just because there's no mid to lurk up. So I think having mid now for Sunset is going to be a world of a difference for rankers to employ. And I think almost that alone is going to bring it to a third map.
I mean, there's really only one way to find out. We're just having a couple of issues with some of the players being able to connect into the lobby. But of course, when that is all set up to go, we're going to be going right into game. No delays whatsoever as soon as we can get that tech stuff solved. So I figured it would be an interesting time to kind of talk about stage 3 and challengers just in general, because what we're seeing in this bracket right now, first of all, we saw Moistex's Shopify Rebellion get eliminated.
Oh, yes, we did.
Currently in the lower bracket, we're seeing two challengers teams go up against each other, upon which one of them is not going to make the playoffs at all. It really feels like we're at this inflection point where a lot of new players are starting to come in, and that is really exciting for the challengers scene.
What I might say, it might be a little controversial.
Okay,
so I do think, because we don't normally have a stage 3, there are a lot of instances where teams haven't been practicing as much. It is the holiday season, right? And I could list out a bunch of different excuses. And I will. It's the holiday season. There's also the fact that a lot of these teams have openly said that they're trialing their players that are playing right now, and because of those factors, they haven't practiced. YFP was very vocal about that, and they still qualified. So I think it's interesting to see that teams like Moist Shopify didn't make it in. They remind me a lot of like a weird hybrid of Rankers and Nightblood, where they can have the strategy to be like Nightblood, but at the end of the day, they would kind of default back into not having a lot of synergy and focus on their fragging and killing ability like Rankers have, but just not being able to do it.
Just falling a little bit short there. And I mean, honestly, too, with how Turtle Troop kind of went, I mean, they're the team that we were looking at and just like, hey, these guys, you expect them to be a little bit more run it downy, not as synergistic when it comes to the actual executes. Sure, they've been playing together for quite some time, the core being very stable, and so they know how each other's playstyle goes. And yet, once again, they were looking like quite the weaker team. And core as well, I feel like there's a similar argument.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's another head to this Hydra, right? For where we're at right now in the patch, we just talked about it ad nauseum. The teams that have qualified so far for playoffs have been able to use Neon pretty heavily to their advantage. Winthrop, the perfect example. Clean sweep outside of losing one map to Ambrosia to qualify through the upper bracket, had the distinct advantage of being a team that had been together for a very, very long time. They've been able to employ the Neon strats very well, and they had the big and small picture level coordination that a team for challengers should have. Whereas TSM, they just announced T-Dog a few days ago. Sim EG'd I suppose. And for like Funhavers and YFP, these are all kind of teams coupled together at the last second. So I think normally you would have an instance where rankers at the very least would have a much rougher path of resistance to get to where they're at right now. But because of the Neons, but because the map pool is sufficient to allow a lot of these more frag forward teams to find value, there will be instances where a team like Rankers has a very real shot of qualifying through the upper bracket.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it really does feel like Rankers have an honest shot. Even if they do end up losing this series, let's say that they go down to the lower bracket, they're either facing Core or, the other one is escaping my brain. It is...
Turtle Troop?
Turtle Troop, yeah. And we've just saw them essentially dismantle Turtle Troop piece by piece. So
yeah,
the Rankers have a real shot.
I mean, Turtle Troop too, right? Like they're a team that they've been trialing players for a little bit now, and who knows how long these scrims have been going on for them, right? There's a lot of players in so few spots for even just the group stage of stage 3 to have a chance to play something before the end of the year. And so, again, it comes down to a lack of practice for a lot of teams just because it's, not an instance where we normally have a tournament at this time of year. And that's completely fine. The more tournaments we have for Valorant, the better. But, if you're a team like Rankers and you can W key your way through and have that aim, like this unbelievable generational gift of aim, yeah, you can take full advantage of that, man.
Well, hey, we're in game now. And look at this. We're actually seeing Zera go on to that Neon as predicted. Very interesting, though. Rankers, they give up the breach as a result of that.
Tripwire destroyed.
That's interesting because there's not really a lot of utility outside of Eggster that can benefit the Neon from pushing in. That means now Eggster has to be a lot more forward and active on the entries with that decoy, with the flashes, going forwards. Nightblood Gaming have already given up B. Sogo gets the opening pick, which is good for the post plan, but they gotta push in.
Fireball Ops, just walking on the other side. A little bit of a trade happening outside. It's a bit of a flank is going to be going in for Nightblood. And now finally, slow and steady, an excellent little angle here. Another trade going through. Knights, of course, just absolutely letting up the kill feed. Kess still alive as well. Makes this a 2v1 scenario. Yeah, through the smoke. Fireball Ops has Knights' number. And we'll be able to get the defuse here. Nightblood Gaming do get that pistol.
What an incredible pre-fire from Fireball Ops. That was so on point. So good to see. Such a great gamble early on. This is a great indicator that Nightblood have taken what they've learned against Rankers' attack on Bind, and they're employing it directly into this next matchup. That is what you want in terms of adaptability.
This is a nice spot.
All right, let's see how this defense is going to be set up here for Nightblood Gamers. We're seeing Classic. Cypher gets set up onto that B site. You have to be a bit careful with those trips, though, because you anticipate that there is going to be a little bit of destruction happening in onto the site. But the Rankers, it looks like quite a few of them getting ready to push into B.
Yeah, same decoy into the Neon wall, dash setup once again. Luckily though, very far back place tripwires allow Fireball to have this defense to allow the rest of his team to rotate in time.
Whoa! Fireball Ops able to find one, swings around the poppin' with the stinger. It's gonna do just that. And now, weapon still in hand here. Definitely caught by surprise as Knights finds yet another. Knights still not done quite yet. Finally, Alim's able to find two. Not dead yet, gets popped. Crazy that that ultimate is already online, but look at this. They just completely back out. Not allowing that Clove to be able to find anything. Just goes around the corner, and Alim able to find yet another. Spike now is going to be planted. Took quite a bit of time here. So plenty for Nightblood Gaming to still retake this 2v2 scenario. That shot going to get utilized as Alim flies across the back of sight. Flash gets expended. And now going to be going through. Has to be careful with this trapwire. Shoots that one down. Inspire's still in the back line as Poppin goes up for a cheeky little opportunity. Flies around. Alim now in ace territory. Looking for it onto Inspire, who's just around the corner. Alim going for the spray, but Inspire shuts that one down. The Rankers, they find an eco.
Yeah, the Breach Neon setup is going to be a golden opportunity for Nightblood Gaming to make a lot of these rounds close, if not successful, for retakes. You have the opportunity to have a flash go through walls, and then someone like Alim to dash across completely for free and take a lot of these fights that would normally go in Ranker's favor. Unfortunately, though, it's just on B site with the recent changes, it became a lot more geometric to allow these tight corners to be held for post-plant attackers much more easily. Rankers, though, are going to swap the A site. They're going to go directly into the belly of the beast of Sogo and Alim. Very curious to see how this plays out with just pistols. Alim is 2-0 points away from getting that overdrive. One solid opening pick here would bring them closer. They could easily do that.
Oh, Alim's stuck in such an odd position. Kenzera does get traded out though, so the judge is going to be dropped, but Knight's still on an absolute tear in the back line. Economy going to be boom and able to buy a Vandal on this round. And now, 3v4 here onto the retake. Never mind, 2v4. Knight's just absolutely turning up. Fireball Ops finds a nice headshot here. Swings around the corner. Oh, okay. Through the box onto Eggster. Shuts it down completely. 2v2. This is winnable right now. He unfortunately only has a shorty. Fireball Ops. Oh, Rifle gets rescued and yeah, caught with the utility out popping. Ready for that swing, as aggressive as ever. As Rankers get another round.
Only one Rifle survived the ordeal. Rankers, a good round for them, sure, but Nightblood Gaming, they had played that as a full dedicated eco. This is their Rifle round now. This is going to be a broken buy for Rankers, sure. Overdrive not available for Kenzera just yet, but I see the game plan. Poppin has the Hunter's Fury set up and ready to go. You proc it this early on, you can gain it again many times over. Eggster 2 taking the breach roll will allow this dasher to come in with a judge and be a nightmare.
Okay, Eggster already on site doing extra things. Absolute brawl happening in the back line, but finally Ilim goes down. A 1v2, it happened just like that. And now, Fireball Ops has to make this one work. Inspire still on the site. Kenzera should have an opportunity to be able to pick up a weapon. With such a cheeky angle here for Inspire to be watching. First contact could be potentially underway. Bullets are just done around, but the ruse from the afterlife make it a little bit more difficult for Fireball Ops to do anything. And now Fireball Ops navigating through that cage. Inspire has their sight there. Oh, just runs out of bullet. Fireball Ops on a sliver of HP. The camera now going to be going out. Tags up that member, and yeah, Inspire makes sure that Rankers get to 3.
Great decision making there. Kenzera was swapping between the Vandal and the Judge too in the post plant, depending on which location Fireball would come in from.
Yes, this should do.
A mowdown completely. For a second, I thought that was Kenzera that got the 3K as a Neon, but it was actually Alim who was holding the fort on A site. They're going to be that hopping warrior that we had seen back on Vine to an extent, singularly holding lanes. Luckily, though, with the help of a breach this time, you're able to control a lot of information. Going back to what we were talking about for solved maps, a lot of people say that the Sova is the better option, but we've been seeing plenty of teams run Fade instead for info gathering. And it's so good for the re-clear. No Prowlers brought out just yet. Ayla moving away from the breach too. Fire solo, the IGL, good to find one, but the neural theft removes all sense of hiddenness that these defenders could have worked off of, allowing a full push in the mid.
Overdrive now going to be online here. As Alim is just spraying it down, able to find one. Going on an absolute tear right now. Goes in onto the site to try and deny any space that could be taken. Fireball Ops just on the other side. Alim still finds yet another. The spike gets dropped as well. It's a lot of information. They don't realize that Knights is still onto that site. Alim simply cannot be stopped. Eggster, the last person left standing. Nightblood Gaming potentially ready to take this next round unless Eggster pulls off a miracle.
Here.
And Eggster, the content demon that he is, now's the chance to show what a Yoru can do. Debatably the best Yoru in North America. 2 flashes available, not much else. Well, fortunately we won't see it this round. A great thrifty. Alim, a 4K.
A little bit tough there, but Poppin now will have Hunter's Fury online. And Kane's Era will have the Overdrive online as well. So a couple ultimates here for the Rankers to be able to do something. Potentially pull things back, even though their buy isn't exactly great. We are seeing that Bucky come in, but at the same time, I mean, a Neon with the Bucky, that is pretty concerning, all things considered.
I mean, Kane tried doing it with the Judge too and found okay results. But this time it's the Overdrive on top.
Okay, Overdrive. Gonna be walking in there. Kane's Era just going around the corner. Fireball Ops is ready for it, but Nightblood Gaming, Kess is able to find that pick.
Planted.
Spike gets planted here. He's going to be 5v4. The Nightfall going to be online. It's responded immediately. Oh no, Fireball Ops just cannot simply escape. Salem is able to at least find another. Hyun going to be next up. Taking a look around onto the site. Should be more or less free. An excellent little smoke makes this a lot more difficult. Things to happen here. As Kess taps that diffuser. Get a little bit more information as to what could be going on. The Recon Bolt gets expended as well. Now Elam is going to be going in onto this one, but Knights finds two, and suddenly they all fall apart. Hyun able to find one, but just can't quite do it. Poppin finding that final kill. The Rankers will now be up to 4.
A solid path to success for Rankers. Even off of Kane's Era, finding distance and not quite a kill against them. Still plenty of time to be a distraction factor for Elbow and Rankers to take that control. Nightblood Gaming have realized now that their B holds are pretty good. A has been a different story. Knights has not dead yet, which will be a great anti-entry tool. Eggster the same with his ult. Will just allow more free access in the B. I'm sorry, A site. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nightblood Gaming, they've been more or less gamble stacking A site and still losing control.
I think they mostly have been doing that, but honestly, I just think that it's the speed that the Rankers have been just flying in onto the site that has really caught Nightblood Gaming off guard.
But it's not Bind, though, where you could just scale up as easily, right? If you do, it has to be mid or maybe even just an Omen Smoke B main stairs, but this is A we're talking about. You have this gigantic choke 50-50 that you're adhered to at the start of a round.
All right, let's see what we've got lined up this time around. Looks like the engagement is going to be outside of A yet again. And look at this, a fault line ready to go. It's a combination we've seen practiced many times. And they could just be butting their heads into each other. Right off the bat, things get let rip. Poppin able to find the first one. Actually, Poppin finding 3. It doesn't work out at all. Nightblood Gaming completely dismantled. The Rankers, an easy, fast round over in seconds.
Yeah, really big props to the info gathering from Eggster's ult. Not hit by the breach stun whatsoever. And this map is essentially the new ascent of this patch. People have expected the stun Neon swing for the longest time, and you're just waiting for this at the start of a round. Post timeout 2, you know there's a major change going to be made from a team like Nightblood. Them taking that fight and waiting early on was such a great call from Ranker's side. And now look at the adherence Nightblood are forced to have. They still have A control, but they're not fighting for the choke early anymore. Cyber Cage is out, making their presence known. A double swing potential here out of A long. But even then, Aelin's undiscovered. Only the Sheriff, though.
I'm out of here.
Oh, perfect timing kind of coming out there. Aelin doesn't stand a chance. Kane's Era gonna be on the site as Kess is just breaching for it. Has that judge still not cleared at all. Eggster goes down. Knights just running rampant yet again. Knights has been absolutely killing Nightblood Gaming on all of these rounds. And it doesn't quite work out yet again for them as the Rankers get that spike down. Hyun and Fireball Ops, a 2v3. Hyun only with that judge in hand and turns the corner into horror. So now Fireball Ops has to do it all alone.
Just the Sheriff, too. A judge.
Wow.
Can't even be used. Nightblood Gaming, they need to find some sort of response. And you'd think that maybe you could lurk up mid or even flank from B, but because now Inspire's rocking the Cypher, it's not nearly as easy as it could have been on Bind when you could just sneak past Deadlock Util. The trips are going to activate, And Rankers are going to know to watch from behind, too. This is just a battle of Nightblood. Not finding a solution just yet. Cypher Util's a good start, but can easily be bypassed by Eggster's decoy.
Deploying.
Here we go again. Tale as old as time, and you know exactly how this is going to go, except Eggster going down first is not what I had on my bingo card. This time around, Nightblood Gaming, they hold fast, and so the Rankers have to make a tactical reposition here. It's going to be Knights leading the way, not able to stay alive that time around. Not going to pop the ultimate as well. Nightblood Gaming ready to secure yet another. Just walking through cage into cage into cage, and the Cyphers walk out on the other side. Fireball Ops, wow. What a shot. The closing out. Fireball Ops gets 3. Nightblood Gaming gets to 3.
Dude, Fireball's on. Oh, man. Fireball's doing. Yeah. I realized it as I was saying. Fireball's doing really good so far in this matchup. Yes, Alim is 13-7. Well, nearly double the kills of Fireball, but these last few rounds, he has been holding the line and having almost nothing but impact kills. Same setup yet again. Cypher Util stifling a lot of Rankers early on. A lot of that had to do with, again, Eggster being the first to fall and KaneZera not finding distance. But 4 ults available. Playing the solo holding B with an op is a good way of having this early control for the defense. And Sogo, if mid is pressured, has the Rolling Thunder. Oh, Alim. Dancing with the devil here. Do you have golden hands?
What? Oh my goodness, still able to find 2. Incredible spray transfer until Knights finally shuts that one down, but Nightblood Gaming will take that as a dub. Rankers still move up, but you know, they're investing so heavily to just grab this space. I don't know if necessarily it's worth it. Regardless, they get through that first hurdle. If they continue to power on through, this should be an easy plant. 2 agents still onto this A site. So we're going to be taking that first swing. Rolling Thunder now going to get activated. The ults are going to be online and should completely deter them from pushing in onto A. No follow-up, but an aftershock just to zone him out yet again. And this just drains down the clock, but I don't think it's enough. The Rankers, they get ready to move in yet again.
48 seconds left. Cass has Nightfall and a Haunt. That could be enough to find Inspire.
30 seconds left.
You're just around the corner here, is able to get that hit. Kess goes down. Still got to go through the Cypher utility. This point, Sogo has given that away. Oh no, the Cypher utility is now down. What? Sogo, unbelievable shot. First looking for that second. Knights is just a little bit sharper. And now
10 seconds
the spike
left.
will go down. Hyun with that operator might try to make it a save round. Not going to be the case. Picks up a Vandal, full kit of utility to try and re-engage.
You have to take this round. Nightblood Gaming can't afford to go into this 3-9. They need at least one more. Full kit, as you mentioned. Very low HP players. Incredibly winnable. But it's Inspire you're dueling up against. And he's always going to get the first shot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And on top of that too, like, this is something that we really liked about how Rankers were playing. They're very good at setting themselves up into these awkward angles that you don't really expect the normal people to be. And they just get rewarded with free kills as a result. We haven't seen it that much this series, but this is something that we know that the Rankers are extremely good at doing.
I mean, to be fair, they haven't had an opportunity to really be in that position before. They're taking sites so easily. And Nightblood Gaming, they're fighting up front against them, taking these fights and losing them out. This time, though, Overdrive promoted by a stun in mid. A different angle to a reapproach. I like this change of pace, but it only finds one. That's up and gone. Win with a triple! A great ult brought out.
Cage trigger.
Inspire. Looking for that opportunity. Fireball ops, Cypher diffs, and yeah, I think in all of that chaos, nobody heard that Hyun had completely slipped into the back line, and the Rankers just not checking for that flank. Just completely get dismantled. Suddenly, this is looking very possible to go 5-7 for Nightblood Gaming, but Rankers, they still got quite a few ultimates here. Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they should use them this round. This is the last round and a half.
Look,
that could force their way into a victory.
All I'm saying is that we've seen 5-7 between these two before. We know what that scoreline looked like.
That's true. That's true.
This is going to be a very long map still. We'll have to wait and see. Good Cyber Cage early on. Distraction factors out. A change of pace for Nightblood to take this fight directly head on.
Ooh, we've seen them do this before. It's working out this time. Knights, though, still is so sharp. Knights has been so good on these initial engagements, and suddenly Alim up against the Warhol Knights with a 4K. Makes it so the rankers will be seeing that 8-4 half.
Nightblood Gaming are gonna be in an interesting spot, to say the very least. They don't have the advantage of gaining up defense rounds on retakes. Now they have to go up against a Neon, a Yoru, and a Clove that could easily take back so much space that these attackers want to gain. Alim has looked amazing going into this second half, and so has Fireball. Everybody else have had moments to shine, but simply their utility's there to promote those two to get frags. They haven't been enough to convert rounds. Nightblood Gaming already opting to potentially start off with a B split through Marketplace. Inspire has the util laid out to be anti-market, to watch out top of B.
Cover is
Already a little bit of info given. Inspire finds Alim. It's going to be down already. Now it's a slow push in here. The trapwire does get set up. Sogo, oh man, gets pinged up in the crossfire. Kess takes a bit of damage as well. Nightblood Gaming, they slow things down, but all four of them are outside of B here, Keg.
Remember, you have a loose team like Rankers. They can just reposition easily from any side of the map. You double down to push in yet again.
Decoy gets expended here. Kess just running it down. Kess does go down. Nexter now makes his appearance here. Just like that, Sogo up against two. Gets hit by the relay bolt, and oh no, Kane0. That was a little bit too close for comfort. But Poppin just on the other side will secure that victory for the Rankers. They're ready for map 3.
Love the level of control Rankers brought out on that pistol. The fact that we had seen Nightblood Gaming never contest direct Marketplace, but had mid control, led to the end of the round being just a direct B hit. There was no second guessing for Rankers about where the approach would be. The push-up from Kane0 to take A space, mid control, always watched. Nightblood Gaming, they're falling to the same trap as Bind. If they allow too much time before the execute to come through, Rankers will put themselves in aiming spots so good to counteract an execute.
Haunt's already used. So much fear of even just looking out onto mid coming in from Nightblood Gaming. They toss down that smoke there to try and throw a little bit of a wrench into the information game that could be going as we get ready now to move things forward. The camera activated, and Kane0 on a sharp angle with a judge. Spots out one. Oh, immediately backs out. Relay bolts are going to be off here. The zap is going to be good. Alim able to find one. In the midst of all of that, the judge is going to get recovered. But look at this, popping on the other side. ADS all day and night. Finds 3 while Knights finds the last. Rankers are now on double digits.
This is a very important rifle round for Nightblood. I'd go for a timeout here.
Oh, yeah?
This could be series defining, depending on how they play out this next round. If they lose it out, they'll be on a broken buy or at worst in full eco. And they don't want to toy with the chance of going 4-12. They have one round of room to work with, but that's their rifle round. This could be the healthiest economy they have for the rest of this attack if they don't play it right.
A little bit of a scary thought to have. Map 3 just around the corner potentially right now. The Rankers are running away with things. A little bit of a fire being exchanged through mid. But overall, they're just going to back up and recoup.
I think that's a good thing to do. Force out the utility inside of mid. Yeah, that's a little unlucky. Plenty of calls now. Time with that utility to rotate back around, but no one on Rankers is moving. They have Extra instead.
Offers an excellent first kill there. Still really not dismantled from that positioning. And look at this, Nightblood Gaming. They're so scared to move in. Knights now moving up. So accurate. Not even getting a rifle. Just a Guardian. Assumes it's going to be enough. Looking for it. Finally, Kess with the AD will be able to win that kill out. But now the Rankers, they surround them from behind. There's a trapwire that should slow down Inspire from making their move onto site. Fireball Ops just on the other side. Might spot out the gun barrel first, and yeah, that is going to be the case. Poppin goes down. Kane's arrow.
30 seconds left.
Has to tuck away. Only has a judge. Can't do too much until Inspire gets onto it. Are you kidding me? Fireball Ops just goes for the blind spray and finds Kane's arrow moving through. The timing was immaculate. Nightblood Gaming looking to secure another round unless Inspire can do something about this.
He did this last series.
A 1v3 scenario. Looking for it right now, but it's the up-down. A little bit too powerful. Nightblood Gaming get the 5.
One dream ends.
Happy to see that Inspire wasn't able to turn a site into monkey bars like they did back on Ascent. Turtle Troop, man. I'm still thinking about that ending, dude. But that being said, though, Rankers, they still maintain a lead. Double the rounds over Nightblood Gaming. I like these late rotations being brought out by the defense, mainly from Inspire. It allows clutch moments like that to potentially occur, but that shows you have a lot of trust in your teammates to take these fights all on their own with a body disadvantage. Mid's the way to go for Nightblood Gaming, and early haunt shows that no one's pushed up.
Bring them down.
Prowler checking for a little bit of information there, and Eggster, yeah, will be cut off, but easily just uses the dimensional drips to get all the way back there. Cass goes for a little bit of a trade. Sorry, not the dimensional drift, the gate crash.
Hey, he went in some dimension.
Yeah, you know, you gotta go into the dimension to come out the gate,
Who's keeping
right?
track of how many dimensions he goes into, right?
There's infinite of them, okay? We've been over this.
Oh, you're right. I'm happy I'm in the multiverse with the one with you, where we get the cast.
Wow. That's so wholesome. As Nightblood Gaming slowly make their way up. Only Kanzera here really on the defense. Extra could swing. A lot of utility available, Keg.
That's right. Kanzera has yet to be discovered, but only with a Bucky. The range will not be in his favor. Relay bolts available. No wall available, though. We won't be able to have any way of blocking vision.
30 seconds left.
Aelin can take all this extra space.
Wow. What? Extra with the alley-oop, able to find two. Kanzera still able to make use of that Bucky. And suddenly it all just falls apart. Should have been a free sight, not going to be the case. Fireball Ops, an almost impossible scenario.
10
Time
seconds
ticking
left.
down, the spike so far away. Everything coming out, at least able to find Exter, but Knights is there. And really, Keg, Knights has been popping off this map.
Know what we should do?
Really, this whole series, so many clutch moments, but you're absolutely right, Mark. 26 and 12 has been otherworldly. And yeah, I don't blame Nightblood for going for a timeout here. They absolutely need to find some sort of inkling of a strategy to unlock these rounds. But you can have all the strategy in the world, man. When you have a Neon that can slide up against you with the help of a Yoru, and they just, in the blink of an eye, shotgun you in the face with a Bucky. What is the strategy against that? Pray! And you go to Ascent, and we already saw how that went against Turtle Troop. Rankers looked amazing on that map. They would break any defense on the attack.
Yeah, honestly, right now, this is another reason why I think Nightblood Gaming taking a timeout is a good call, because that last one, that has got to be frustrating. And you need to take this opportunity to, like, cool off your jets if you want a chance at getting back into this map. It's still not looking good for them, but they're not out of the weeds just yet. A couple of ultimates online. Won't be a full buy up, but just enough to be able to make this contestable. Just need to be able to find a first pick, and then they should be able to rescue that rifle, even things out a bit more. Nightfall available as well.
Okay.
I wonder if it's going to be a fast play.
It has to be. Paranoia into the Nightfall. Directly take site control. Look at the ult cycling from Rankers, though. One kill and the entire round can change.
No, Kanzera goes out and immediately goes back. The stun is not going to be enough. Aelin's still able to find it, going in for a little bit more. Extra, though, just on the other side. A decoy gets utilized, so it sprays him through it anyways. As Knights just on the other side, and it happens so quickly, but Knights closes the door. Rankers 12-5. I love these fast rounds.
Match point.
I'm sure someone in the chat can tell us, but how long was that round?
So let's finish this hang.
Oh, I'm going to guess like,
20 seconds?
yeah, 15 seconds? That sounds about right.
And I mean, the prep work for Nightblood, again, they had the strat going to this round. They even killed Kane Zera first. But the follow-up potential of Rankers is unlike anybody else we've seen in this group stage. They always have a plan. Remember the old cycling we just talked about? That Nightfall never had a chance to come out from Kess. And now there's 3 ults that Rankers can use!
Well, now, hey, gonna use all those ultimates right off the bat on both sides right now. A little bit of friendly fire, but that's okay. Poppin is able to find one. Knights completely shutting down A-Lim. And look at this, it's the judge from behind, at least able to get one. The trades are still going. It's absolute mayhem, absolute chaos. Nightblood Gamers down to 2. Okay, Rolling Thunder is gonna be going through as well. Poppin can't quite see much. It's gonna be going in onto the back, but look at this absolute nasty flank. Uh-oh. Fireball off's down into it. Fireball off's able to find Inspire. A 1v1 scenario. 33 HP. Poppin just needs 1 bullet. Oh, gets spotted out, but it doesn't matter. The Rankers, they've got their eyes set on map number 3.
I mean, look, Sunset, Ascent, how are they any different if all you do is run it down and find the fights, right? Turtle Troop suffered a horrible fate against Rankers, and it seems like Nightblood Gaming, unless they can find a solution defensively that works, just like they did on Bind, they might suffer the same fate. And that allows Rankers to have free access back over to the upper bracket qualification for playoffs. It's only one map to stop them.
Ooh, I know. It's so crazy that there's only one map and one of these teams will be able to qualify for playoffs. Well, that map is going to be Ascent. We're going to be throwing to a quick break, but when we get back, we will decide a winner and one of these teams will advance. See you on the other side of the break.